You are welcome to yet another episode of LFN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real important issues with important people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly, aka the R&B King. No one could resist to be surprised and wonder how the government managed to retry R. Kelly for the very same charges he had already been tried for back in 2008 through a court process that saw him acquitted and all charges dropped. In an act of double jeopardy, the government returned these very same charges and mingled them up with the recent ones which are also concocted, in a way contemplating the U.S. statute which describes this as an act of double jeopardy. In jurisprudence and by international standards that govern law, double jeopardy is a procedural defense that prevents an accused person from being tried again on the same or similar charges, following an acquittal or conviction in the same jurisdiction. In R. Kelly's case, everyone knows that he had been tried on some of the charges that were returned, and it was therefore out of order to have him retried on the very same charges. While in criminal cases only the defendant has the right to file an appeal, in civil cases, either parties can file an appeal, and this is the only approach that can legally secure a retrial on matters for which a defendant has been acquitted. The plaintiff in 2008, however, did not even bother to file an appeal, and therefore the verdict holds. For outgoing District Attorney Kim Foxx, though, she felt she had the power to do as she pleased and return old charges from a closed case to the trial court. Ignoring the law of double jeopardy along with the already expired statutes of limitation, therefore, the government pounced on R. Kelly and illegally retried him. The existence of these two safeguards did not stop the government from exercising its usual mischief and abusing the laws of this land in a shameless move to end the career of the R&B King. Again, this is a depiction of government playing double standards for its own convenience. In 2008, the Department of Justice concluded that R. Kelly is innocent and duly acquitted him through a proper court process which has even been determined not to have suffered any obstructions of justice. Remember, in this second attempt to overthrow the first trial verdict, charges of obstruction of justice were introduced, but again, as always, R. Kelly was found not guilty. If the first trial did not suffer obstruction of justice by the defendant, therefore, this then translates into a confirmation that the not guilty verdict was firm and should not have been contested at all. But the shameless government just doesn't believe in the legal system of this country, and for this reason, the district attorney's office did not hesitate to return the very same charges to the same court that acquitted R. Kelly back in the years, and renew their contests like no decision was taken in 2008. There are certain moves the government has made during these successive trials against R. Kelly which have never been heard of in history. It's indeed the first time a man has been declared innocent and acquitted, but 15 years down the road without an appeal is returned to court for the very same crimes and declared guilty on some of these counts. This bold move by government as a whole to rubbish its own decisions and assume new answers to the very same old question they were asked before has shown the world how unstable the U.S. laws are, and that the government certainly has the power to overthrow the Constitution and enact new laws altogether, for as long as they come across an important case as that against a person of interest like R. Kelly. In fact, some supporters and fans of R. Kelly have been heard sarcastically suggest that instead of presenting their music icon to court, they should have presented him to Congress such that they can be guided in creating new laws to marginalize him right in front of him. After all, the RICO was completely reinvented, the Mann Act abused, and all his safeguards ignored. This put into law could amount to a total overhaul of the United States Constitution. Or at the minimum introduce a new section that is entitled Celebrity Law, where special laws designed to keep celebrities in check and define how they live their lives would appear. We have in fact heard talks by some R. Kelly haters such as Vlad, who seem convinced that special laws for celebrities like R. Kelly are the way to go. Vlad was heard speak in an interview when he was hosted on Math Hoffa, and he said if you have achieved so much in this country, your legal compliance is judged using a different yardstick than the other citizens who did not make it so big in life. And following such careless utterances, R. Kelly supporters demand to know whether successful artists get to be taxed lower than the others, such that they can be punished harder than the rest. According to Malik, for many who understand a bit of what the law is and how it's intended to work, it's even difficult to understand how this case managed to get to the appeal court. Yet R. Kelly should have been acquitted in the early stages for all the reasons already mentioned. And by the time it gets to individuals like Vlad talking and making such comments that are intended to normalize prejudice against celebrities, it means that society has been wrongly sensitized. There is need for major government reforms to keep prejudicial cases of this nature from ever happening. There is indeed no way a U.S. citizen should be found innocent in 2008 and duly acquitted, but later on in 2022 determined guilty for the very same charges. Unless the government changed and it's no longer the United States of America. But even global legal standards do not support such malicious intent, and an international court would make the very same recommendations as these. According to Anam, this is just another example of the laws implemented by government to be used for others but not them. The truth is that for a moment they can assume all the power in the world to violate a man's basic rights and lock him up for no clear reason, but there will come a time when they will be on the other side. Remember, even the best dancer leaves the stage. It's on such an occasion when they will know that they were never gods and that there is indeed only one God. It's becoming more and more difficult to believe that this is still the United States of America. I didn't think this nation was a dictatorship like many nations talked about in history. With this level of impunity though that can see the government behave this way, there is no doubt this country is just another broken nation where the law can be violated in this manner, and worse still by the very people who are supposed to protect it. Danny King says, "This rings so many bells the way Michael Jackson warned R. Kelly about Sony. It's weird how such things only choose to happen to great international stars who top the charts. Sony knows that whatever happens, their music will still be played, and so they rush to get a hold of their catalogs. They definitely know that at the artist's weakest, they have negotiating power, and if you resist, they finish you. The likes of Prince, Whitney Houston among others. These were not just ordinary artists. They were all artists with catalogs worth billions of dollars." If you wish to take part in a live interview discussing any of these topics, let us know by sending an email to sasha@lfnmedia@gmail.com for scheduling. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.